Hi, I'm Brayton,
And I'm Jacob.
and welcome back to Tiger News Television.
Can you believe it's 2018 already?
I can't. 2017 just flew by so fast.
Let's take a look at what the news for the high school is to start off the new year with Nate.
Hello, I'm Nate Leiby. I'm reporting on high school news. In this segment, I will be telling about all the activities that have went on since before Christmas break. First semester finals were on December 20th and the 21st. Christmas break was December 22nd through January 2nd. Classes resumed back on January 3rd. On January 5th, the Tiger basketball teams had their first game of the 2018 portion of the season against Chapman. On January 8th, the Scholars Bowl team went to Wamego. On Tuesday, January 9th, Quarter 2 progress reports came out, and the boys and girls basketball teams played at home versus Minneapolis. On Thursday, the 11th, the JV and varsity wrestlers were scheduled to wrestle Marysville in a duel, but due to the snow, both Clay Center and Marysville were closed. On Friday, January 12th, the basketball teams went to Abilene to play. On Monday, January 15th, there was no school due to Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On Tuesday, January 16th, the school was canceled again because of very cold wind chill. On Wednesday, January 17th, school resumed. On Thursday, January 18th, the site council had a meeting and the Scholars Bowl team went to Rock Creek. Also due to school being canceled on Tuesday, the boys and girls varsity basketball teams played their opening round of the Hillsboro tournament. On Friday, the 19th, the forensics team went to Hutchinson and the basketball teams went back to Hillsboro for the second round of the tournament. On Saturday, January 20th, the final round of the Hillsboro tournament took place for both the girls and boys basketball teams. The wrestling team went to a tournament in Beloit, and powerlifting had their first meet in St. Mary's. The following week, on Monday, January 22nd, NCKL Scholars Bowl was held in Concordia. Also, band rehearsal was scheduled for this day as well. On Tuesday, the 23rd, the winter band concert was held at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, there was Upward Bound and book club meeting that took place during SIP. There was also a district site council meeting that evening. On Friday, January 26th, the FFA went to Lawrence, forensics went to Salina South, and the basketball teams headed on the road to Smoky Valley. On Saturday, the 27th, the wrestling team traveled to Baldwin for a tournament, and the forensics team went to Republic County. Well, that wraps up my segment on high school news for the month of January. I'm Nate Leiby, and this has been a segment on high school news. I now send it back to Jacob and Brayton in the studio.
Thanks, Nate, for catching us up with news around the school.
Hey Brayton, do you know how the CCCHS dancers are performing?
I haven't.
Well, let's take a live look at these dancers with our reporter, Precious.
Bust a move, or at least watch some awesome dance moves at the home game halftimes. I'm Precious Smith for Tiger News Television. I interviewed some of the dancers to really learn some more of the details.
I'm Jalen Casper, and I dance at the dance company.
I'm Cheyenne Brandhorst, and I dance for Slego Studio.
I'm Jillian, and I am a dancer at the dance company.
How many years have you been dancing?
I've been dancing for 15 years.
I've been dancing for 10 years.
I've danced for 12 years.
What's your favorite thing about performing?
My favorite thing about performing is sharing the story with the audience.
My favorite thing about performing is just getting to dance and having fun with it.
I like the adrenaline rush you get when you perform for other people.
What's the hardest dance move?
This dance move is probably a tilt.
For me, my hardest dance move is my turning center.
I would say pirouette turns.
Lots of hard work are put into these dances. Make sure to clap loud and cheer those dancers on. I'm Precious Smith for Tigers News Television, sending this back to the studio.
Thanks, Precious.
So, Jacob, have you been to the games this year?
Yes, I have been to all the games this year.
For all of you that haven't, here's Nate, Evan, and Cooper to fill us in with all of the action.
Hello, I'm Evan Rosenau, reporting for Tiger News Television on boys basketball. The boys basketball team led 1-5 entering Christmas break. The Tigers' first game back from break was at home against Chapman on January 5th. The Tigers struggled both offensively and defensively against Chapman. Chapman opened the game on a 22-1 run. The Tigers trailed by 20 points throughout the game until they got within 14 in the fourth quarter. However, Chapman pulled away with a 71-50 victory. The Tigers moved to 1-6 in the season after the loss to Chapman. The Tigers' next game was on January 9th at home against Minneapolis. The Tigers played a back-and-forth game against Minneapolis in the first half. The Tigers led 21-19 at halftime. The third quarter was more of the same. The teams were tied at 31 going into the fourth quarter. The Tigers used a 16-0 run to get ahead 47-33 in the fourth quarter. The Tigers won the game 52-45. Atkinson Anything led the Tigers with 27 points and Ivy scored 12. The Tigers moved to 2-6 in the season. The Tigers' next game was January 12th at Abilene. The Tigers played well against a good Abilene team but were defeated 62-48. Libby led the Tigers in scoring with 22 points. The Tigers then competed in the midseason tournament at Hillsboro. The Tigers played Sunrise Christian Academy on January 18th. The Tigers fell behind early in the game but fought back in the fourth quarter. Dylan Swihart made a game-tying three-pointer at the end of the fourth quarter to send the game to overtime. The game was tied at the end of the first overtime, so the game went to the second overtime. Sunrise outscored the Tigers by 4 points in the second overtime. The final score was 94-90. Atkinson Anything led the Tigers in scoring with 45 points. Libby scored 20 points, and Last added 13 points. The Tigers' next game was January 19th against Hillsboro. The Tigers played well against the #1 seed in the tournament. The Tigers led by 3 points going into the fourth quarter, but were outscored by 9 points in the fourth quarter. The final score was 54-48. Atkinson Anything led the Tigers with 16 points. Glaves added 13 points, and Last scored 10. The Tigers then played Riley County in the 5th place game. The Tigers played very well again against Riley County. The Tigers won 62-49. Atkinson Anything led the Tigers in scoring again, scoring 14 points. Glaves added 13 points, and Libby added 10. The Tigers took 5th place in the Hillsboro tournament. The Tigers improved to 3-9 on the season. I interviewed Tiger senior Brigham Glaves to get his thoughts on the basketball season so far.
I'm here with Brigham Glaves. So Brigham, how has basketball gone so far?
Basketball's been good. I mean, we're at midway through the season, and we've had a good time playing. We don't have the record we've hoped for, but we're improving every game, and I think we're going to start winning some more games.
What are some goals for the rest of the season?
I'd say our goal right now is to just win the next game. You can't think about what's happened so far. We just try to win the next game that we have to play.
And what has been your favorite moment so far?
I'd say my favorite moment is probably the Hillsboro tournament. It's 3 days and it's a long drive, but it's fun and we're always happy.
We want to wish the Tiger basketball team the best of luck as they continue their season. The next update on the team will be in the February show. This has been Evan Rosenau reporting for Tiger News Television on Tiger Basketball.
How do you think wrestling has done this year?
I think we're doing pretty good as of right now. We have a really young team, so in the future we'll be a lot better.
What's your favorite part about wrestling?
Probably the group of people we got around us. Really good group of guys, and it's a good family atmosphere.
What's the funniest thing that's happened this season?
We were in Baldwin, and Quentin got his foot stuck in between the bleachers. And instead of helping him, we took pictures, and then decided to, so we could take off his shoe.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
How do you think wrestling has done this year?
I think we've done pretty good so far. We fought pretty hard all the tournaments. We had pretty good outcomes.
What do you think you guys can improve on as a team?
I think we could probably just fight a little harder and maybe work harder in practices.
What's your favorite part about wrestling?
Probably winning and working hard and accomplishing our goals.
Thank you. How do you think wrestling has done this year?
We've done pretty good. We've had some tough tournaments, but overall I think we've done pretty well as a team.
What do you think you guys can improve on?
Probably like our effort most of the time. Like most of the time we do pretty good, but sometimes our effort is a little bit lacking.
What's your favorite part about wrestling?
Definitely the bus rides or the breakfast.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nate Libby. I'm reporting on the Clay Center Tigers high school girls basketball team. The Lady Tigers went into Christmas break with a record of 5-1. They defeated Rock Creek, Beloit, Riley County, Wamego, and Concordia. Their only loss was to Marysville. The Lady Tigers won their last 3 games before going into the break and carried their momentum to the second part of the season. Their first game back from break was against the Chapman Irish. The Lady Tigers had a very close game versus Chapman. It was back and forth the whole game with many lead changes. The Lady Tigers made their free throws down the stretch and pulled away to win 54-50 and advanced to 6-1 on the season. Their next game was on December 9th against Minneapolis. The Lady Tigers battled back and forth with the Lady Lions, but eventually pulled away and came up with a huge win. They outscored Minneapolis 41-12 in the second half. Clara Edwards led the Lady Tigers with 24 points and Addie Mullen had 18. The Lady Tigers were now 7-1. On Friday, January 12th, the Lady Tigers traveled on the road to Abilene. This was the first road game for the Lady Tigers in 2018. The Lady Tigers got out to a very strong start against Abilene. They took an early 12-9 lead in the first quarter and stretched their lead to 8 points at halftime. In the third quarter, the Lady Tigers were outscored by 4 but still held on to lead. Going to the fourth, the Lady Tigers led 41-37. Abilene played solid defensively in the fourth quarter and gained the lead by 1 in the final minute, but Hannah Ferguson got fouled and made 1 out of 2 free throws to tie it and send it to overtime, where the Lady Tigers took over and pulled out a 60-55 win. Hannah Ferguson led the team with 19 points. Erin Hamill and Claire Edwards had 14 for the Lady Tigers as well. The Lady Tigers advanced to 8-1 on the season and were the #1 seed for the Hillsborough tournament. Their opening game was against Eureka. The Lady Tigers took an early 9-6 lead after 1 quarter and pulled away to a 25-6 halftime lead. They kept the momentum going and beat Eureka by 20. Hannah Ferguson led the team with 11, Claire Edwards had 9, and Sydney Calloway had 8. The second round for the Lady Tigers was against the host team, Hillsborough. The Lady Tigers jumped out to another early lead, but Hillsborough responded in the second half, cutting the Tigers' lead to single digits. The Lady Tigers then went on a run of their own in the fourth quarter and pulled out the 39-18 win. Claire Edwards finished with 14 points. Erin Hamill finished with 8, and Addie Mullen finished with 7. With that win, the Lady Tigers advanced to their third consecutive Trojan Classic championship game. The Lady Tigers faced Heston. The game was a back-and-forth battle for all 4 quarters, but the Lady Tigers pulled out the win 44-42. Sydney Calloway finished with 13 points, and Claire Edwards had 12 in the win. The Lady Tigers advanced to 10-1 on the season. After the tournament, the Lady Tigers played Smoky Valley on Friday, January 26. Due to the timing of the show, we couldn't get the scores from that game, but we will get you the scores from that game and the upcoming games in the next production. I'm Nate Libby, and this has been a report on the CCCHS Lady Tiger basketball team. Back to you, Jacob and Brayton, in the studio.
Thank you, Cooper, Nate, and Evan.
Brayton, do you know about Martin Luther King Day?
I don't, but lucky for you and me, I did a little segment to tell us what MLK Day really is.
Martin Luther King Day celebrates the life and legacy of a man who brought peace and healing to a country in dire need. His voice filled such a huge void in our country at the time. And he knew it wasn't just enough to just speak. He knew he had to speak by his actions. He overcame death threats, jail time, and paid the ultimate price, just to make every American equal. We wouldn't be where we were today if it were not for his major contribution. Thank you, Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you, Brayton, for getting us all caught up with Martin Luther King Day.
You're welcome.
Hey, Brayton, do you like game shows?
I do. I watch The Price is Right and America's Got Talent.
Well, I also like game shows, and in this next segment, I'm going to be the host of my own game show.
Let's take it away, Jacob.
Hello, and welcome to Minute to Win It. This is your host, Jacob Ruiz, and boy, do we have a good one for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we will have our first contestant on the show, competing for bragging rights at CCCHS. Let's go meet our contestant for today. This here is our first contestant. Could you tell everybody your name for me?
Preston Shepard.
Okay, are you excited to be on the show today, Preston?
Oh yeah, this is a good opportunity.
A good opportunity indeed. For you are competing for bragging rights at CCCHS today with 2 other competitors. How do you feel you will fare with the competition today?
I think I should be up towards the top because just kind of what I do.
That's great. Are you ready to hear what your Minute to Win It challenge is?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right, your challenge is the Face Cookie Challenge. In the Face Cookie Challenge, you'll have 1 minute to get a cookie that I will place on your forehead into your mouth. You cannot use your hands. If you drop the cookie, you must replace the cookie on your forehead and restart. Are these rules clear to you, sir?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Face, forehead, and the mouth. Minute. No problem.
Okay. Are you ready to take on the Face Cookie Challenge?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Look who it is. It's our winner today, Mr. Preston Shepard. How do you feel on your victory today, sir?
Well, coming to this, I kind of knew that minute would be pretty easy, but did it pretty fast, so.
Yeah, only 3 seconds flat. That is definitely a record here on Minute to Win It. And everybody, this is our first Minute to Win It champion, Mr. Preston Shepard.
Let's go.
Yeah. Thanks for being on the show.
Yep, thanks for having me, man. That was awesome.
Yep. Well, that will do it for this segment of Minute to Win It. It is now clear that Preston has bragging rights at CCCHS as Minute to Win It champion. I now send it back to myself and Brayton in the studio.
Thank you, Jacob, for that game show.
The pleasure was all mine, Brayton. Brayton, do you know any of the new updates on the Tiger House?
I haven't heard much, but it's a good thing we have Evan to tell us more.
Hello, I am Evan Rosenau, reporting for Tiger News Television on the Tiger House. The students in Mr. Kelly's Construction Technology 1, 2, and 3 classes have been working very hard on the Tiger House throughout the month of January. The students are progressing very quickly on the Tiger House. The students finished insulating the house in the first couple weeks of January. The students are currently waiting for somebody to put the drywall in. When this is completed, the students are planning to put in doors. When the doors are put in, the house is basically completed. I interviewed Dylan Swihart and asked him what the students have done to the house in the month of January, when the house will be completed, and what has been his favorite part of building the house.
We have insulated and drywalled the house, and we finally got the furnace going, so it's actually kind of warm in there. We're kind of thinking in April, we hope, but with all this cold weather, we're kind of getting behind schedule, so we'll see. My favorite part of building the house was probably the roofing, or putting up the rafters and that. So
the next update on the Tiger House will be in the February show. This has been Evan Rosenau, reporting for Tiger News Television on the Tiger House. I now send it back to Jacob and Brayton in the studio.
Thank you, Evan, for getting us caught up with the Tiger House.
High school went to the KSU band clinic. Have you heard anything about that, Jacob?
No, I haven't. I'm not in band right now, so.
Well, here's Cooper to tell us more.
How do you think the band has sounded this year?
This year, I think the band's been sounding pretty okay. Mrs. Thatcher just came in and helped us a lot with sound quality. I think for a little band, we've been putting out a lot of sound.
What do you think you guys could improve on?
Oh, just normal stuff like dynamics, intonation, and then, just all the qualities that actually bring out the music inside the music.
What do you think the band will be like after you leave?
I have no idea, but I think as an alumni, I'm probably going to come back once or twice and listen and see how the band's doing.
Thank you. How do you think the band has sounded this year?
I think we've been a lot better than we have been in past years. With the new teacher and all, we've really gotten into the core and more into dynamics and other stuff that has, I think, helped us.
What do you guys think you could improve on?
Well, I mean, in the next few years, I think we can improve with the teacher, Mrs. Thrasher. I think we can improve more. I mean, we've gotten down deeper into stuff we usually wouldn't have, so there's not really that much actually overall. Maybe just more music.
What do you think? What is the funniest thing that's happened in band this year?
I mean, anything that Daniel does, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cooper.
Hey, Brayton, you know what time it is?
No, what is it?
It's Nicky Y, the Science Guy time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Nicky Y Science Guy. I'm Nicky Y.
I'm Nick the Guy.
And before we start our experiment today, I would like to apologize for a recent lack in our episodes. Today we are going to make up for all that.
And we also have someone new on the show today.
Yeah, our guest star today is Cooper Glavin. Come on down.
Nice to be on the show.
Nice to have you here.
What are we going to be doing today?
Today we're going to be making magnetic slime. And in order to do that, here are the steps. First, the items that we're going to need is a bowl, a ladle, measuring cup, some liquid starch, iron powder, and finally some almonds. Okay, first we are going to add half a cup of liquid starch into the bowl. Great, now we're going to add 4 tablespoons of iron powder into the bowl, and now we're going to stir until it's well mixed. We're going to add half a cup of Elmer's glue into the bowl, and now we're going to mix until we have slime. Great, now that we have slime, here's a demonstration of how the slime reacts to magnets.
That was fun. Why is the slime attracted to the magnet?
Well, the answer to that question is quite simple. It's the iron powder that we mix into the slime. You see, metals like iron, nickel, and cobalt and other materials produce a unique magnetic behavior called ferromagnetic.
Ferromagnetism is the attraction between a metal and an opposite pole.
Exactly. So when we added the iron powdered into the slime, we made the slime ferromagnetic.
Can I keep it?
Sure. For $15.
Okay.
Well, everyone, that was fun. Thank you for watching Nicky Y Science Guy. I'm Nicky Y.
And I'm Nick the Guy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick and Nick, for that entertaining segment.
So, Jacob, do you know who the student of the month is?
No, I was just about to ask you that same question.
Well, it's Precious Smith, and we had the opportunity to interview her, so here it is.
Hello, I'm Precious Smith. I'm January Student of the Month. I have lettered academically for 4 years. I have lettered in forensics for 2 years, in debate for 4 years. And last summer I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and I attended the NSDA Nationals. I was the first student to go from CCCHS. I've been in Tiger Corral for 2 years. I've been in cheer for 3 years. I played basketball my freshman year. Yeah, I'm president of the drama club. For my future plans, I plan on moving to New York and going to college there for musical theater. And yeah, my biggest goal is to perform in Chicago, and the dance number is Cell Block Tango.
Congratulations to Precious and all of her achievements this year.
Well, I suppose that just about wraps up this segment of TNT.
It does. I'm Brayden.
And I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you next time.